Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Tuesday Talks episode 145. How is everyone doing this evening? I hope everyone's doing great. Okay. Hi, Tanisha. Hi, Raz. How are you guys doing? Good to have you guys here. Good to have you here today. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing pretty good. I was a little exhausted earlier and I needed to get some things done, but I just could not find enough to get up and go. But otherwise, I'm good. Otherwise, I'm all right. I'm all right. Hey, good evening. Good evening. So good to have you with us this evening. Today, we're going to be talking about setting healthy boundaries. Hey, Rhonda. Yes, I'm doing good. I'm blessed and I really can't complain. I'm a little frustrated about some things, but overall I'm blessed and I really can't complain. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about healthy boundaries, but before we get into that, just a reminder that my online card shop, it is open. If you're still needing graduation cards, there are some still on the website that are available. Let me, I'll share my screen real quick and show you guys real quick. There we go. So I just loaded 2 cards online today. These were cards that were part of we have the Hello Floral card. That was one of the latest ones in my Card Frenzy series that I've been doing. And then the previous week, we did the Turtle birthday card. That's up and available. And then we did the gnome cards the week prior to that. So we did all of the graduation gnome cards, so you can check into those. We have different skin colors, both male and female. So those are available as well. So go if you're still get that. There's lots of different cards. We still have a few spring cards available if you want to grab something while spring is still going on. And next thing that will be loaded to the website is going to be some Father's Day cards, and we'll get some summer cards out as well. That's what we've got going on there. Um, yeah, I meant to get the turtle card up last week, but I hadn't taken the official photos that I wanted to take for it. I had only taken some for my video. And so those hadn't gotten up on the site yet, but those are there. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so what else? Let's talk about the book club. I don't know what happened last week. I think my Zoom wasn't working properly. So if you tried to get on with me last week for the book club and it didn't work, I apologize. I don't know what was going on. But before this live is over, I will post the link. So if you want to join us for book club, you can. Even if you haven't started reading the book, feel free to join us. I'm a few chapters behind, but we've been reading The Number One Lawyer by James Patterson, and it's really, really good. So if you want to even just join us for the discussion, I'll make sure that link goes in before the live is over. Thank you. I I finally got it done. I'm a procrastinator and a perfectionist. Those two are bad combination. But I got it done. Thank God. Thank God. Let's see. And what else? All right. Our snack of the day. So most everyone has probably eaten gummy bears. Some people don't like gummy stuff because of the texture or whatever. But usually when I get a pack of those gummy bears, I always want to eat the clear ones because they have a pineapple flavor. And y'all know I'm weird with food. I'm a textural eater. I do not eat pineapple at all, but I love pineapple juice. And it irritates my family that I'm like that, but that's just what it is. So when I get a bag of the gummy bears, I always try to go for those clear ones because they have that pineapple flavor. And look what I found in Dollar Tree. Y'all, it's all pineapple ones. That's all there is in this pack. It says it's a limited edition, but it's only the pineapple flavor. So if you like pineapple, head to Dollar Tree. I could not believe that that's the only flavor that's in it. I was so excited. I don't know. I should have got more than one. Like, what was I thinking? Now I'm kind of mad at myself. I should have got more than one because these are my favorite of all the gummy flavors in there. So this is our snack of the day. Head to your Dollar Tree. It's not $1.25, it's $1.35 in Texas with tax because, you know, everything's bigger in Texas, including our sales tax. But yeah, so head on over to Dollar Tree and get you some of those. All right. Did you guys do anything special for Memorial Day at all? Anybody? I didn't. Like, I literally did nothing yesterday. What did I do? I got up to go get some food at one point, and I think that was it. I spent most of the day just laying in the bed and resting. So yeah, nothing special. You know, like years ago, my family, we used to always get together for these kind of holidays and stuff like that and do stuff, but not so much anymore. So yeah, it was a very quiet, very quiet day around here. Oh, that was nice. That's nice. Got your facial and your lashes. I really have been in need of a massage, but you know, I've been trying not to spend money. But the first thing I'm going to spurge on when I get the chance is going to be a spa day. Definitely. I've just been dealing with biofreeze that I've been using biofreeze, but I really need a massage. I'm gonna need a pedicure soon too. Um, yeah, and an eyebrow wax. I always wait till my eyebrows look like Oscar the Grouch before I go get them done again. So bad. So bad. Yeah. A good massage. The last place that I went to, my older brother had like all these reward points or whatever he needed to use at this place because they were about to expire. And I had never been to that spa before. I think it's called Hand and Stone or something like that. I think that's what it's called. When I tell you, I went twice and I had two different people, and those people have like blessed hands, okay? Like their hands are blessed by God and the angels. Yes. Yes is all I can say. They know how to give a massage at that place. Like they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. So I think I will be heading back over there the next time that I go. Definitely. Yep. So again, today's topic is setting healthy boundaries, and I have found that that's something I need to do a little bit more, and I think having healthy boundaries creates a sense of safety and a sense of peace. So I think it's needed. Um, Definitely needed. So, do you believe in having healthy boundaries with your family, your friends, maybe your coworkers, etc.? Do you believe in setting those healthy boundaries? Oh my God, Michelle! Hi, Michelle. How are you? So good to have you, ma'am. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Yes, it is a must. It is a must. And I think sometime yes, I came back in, oh goodness, I want to say it was February, but I'm only live every second and fourth Tuesday for now. Eventually, I would like to get back to every week, but right now, every second and fourth Tuesday. So glad to have you. It's been a long time. Oh my gosh. All right. But yeah, it's definitely a must. And I feel like sometimes we're a little less likely to set those boundaries with family. I think sometimes we're more likely to do it with friends than we are with family. And I think sometimes we have this huge misconception that because people are family, we're supposed to always be available, we're supposed to always be accessible, and it's hard to say no. But we've got to change that mindset for sure. We have to change that mindset because some people will take advantage if you don't have boundaries set. I have boundaries because people depend on me more than they should. Yes, yes. So much I could say about that. But yes, I definitely feel that it's something that is needed um, in all aspects, in all relationships, regardless of what type of relationship it is. If it's just platonic, if it's familial, if it's romantic, If it's a business relationship, like with coworkers and things like that, I believe the boundaries need to be set, and they need to be healthy boundaries. And when we set those boundaries, we almost have to be a little a little selfish when we create those boundaries, because we're trying to protect ourselves with them. Um, some people would probably call us selfish based on some of the boundaries that we make, or they might call us all kinds of different names for whatever. But a lot of times it's because they can't get access to us the way that they want access to us, or they can't get from us what they want to get from us. So everybody's not going to be happy with those boundaries that we set. I set boundaries a long time ago. Yes, I learned it was mandatory. I do not mind helping when I can, but if it is above me, take it to Jesus. I'm probably, amen, hallelujah. Amen, hallelujah. Okay, amen. You know, I used to find myself years ago. I'm kind of like a three-strike person. My brother has told me before that that's not cool because God gives us more than three strikes. But that's part of my boundaries now. It's like what I can't do is a person that is not going to try to help themselves and they're wanting me to help them. If you're not trying to help yourself, I'm only going to help you to a certain extent. If your boundaries are where you're very intrusive and you can't tend to your business, then I'm going to keep you at a distance. I'm going to set that boundary where I'm going to keep you at a distance. If you are toxic and messy, I'm going to, depending on the relationship I have with you. If you're a coworker, I'm going to try to work with it. Um, if it's a romantic relationship and they're toxic, more than likely it's time to just exit. If it's a friendship, probably need to exit, especially if you've expressed that these toxic traits are an issue for you and they're not trying to correct the situation. Time to exit. The time when it gets a little bit challenging is when it's family. And if family is toxic, I always say you can love them from a distance. You can love them from a distance. Anybody, you can be nice and cordial to them when you're in the presence with them. But you have to set those boundaries because you don't want all that toxicity in your space. You don't want all that messiness in your space. You don't want disrespect in your space. So you have to be very cognizant of the behaviors that people are showing you and whether or not that is something you can tolerate. Yeah. As I get older, it's easier to set boundaries and say no. You would think, right? You would think, but I know some people that are they still have difficulty in setting boundaries. And it frustrates me to even see them tolerating what they tolerate and people taking advantage of their kindness. It's a lot. It's a lot to even witness, and it's not even myself that's dealing with it. But as I get older, I am so less tolerable than I have been, and I just can't. I can't do it. Can't do it. It's a really good book by Lisa Turkers called Goodbyes and Good Boundaries. Oh, that sounds like a good one. I need to write that down. Let me get a piece of paper. You would think I would have a notepad right here. Okay, let me write this down. Goodbyes and Good Boundaries. I'm going to buy that for somebody. So I know somebody that they haven't quite figured it out. Goodbyes and Good Boundaries. It's a book. Okay, by Lisa Turkhurst. Okay, sounds like a very good read. You can have forgiveness without reconciling. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because at this point, you know how they say, when people show you who they are, believe them. That's the where I'm at in life. I'm like, okay, you show me, and I believe. Thank you. Thank you for showing me, and I am going to act accordingly. I'm going to move around accordingly. If that means I need to distance myself, I'm going to put distance. If that means I need to separate myself, I'm going to separate. But I'm going to believe you when you show me. Because a lot of times we want to give people the benefit of the doubt. I think that's part of our human spirit. Um, you got to look at patterns of behavior and what are the fruits of their behavior? You know, what's the fruits? True, he gives us more strikes, but we are not him. No, that's what I tell our brother. I'm sorry if I'm not Jesus. I'm not. I cannot allow you to compromise my mental or physical health. He will fix it. This applies to everyone. Yes, ma'am. That's right. That's right. And I've really gotten to that point. 3 strikes. And depending on strike 1, you may not even get a chance to come back to bat, honey, because depending on the severity of strike 1, I don't know. I'm big on show me and I'll believe. Life has taught me that lesson way too many times. Yes. Yes. And I think someone, right? And it's just we want to hold on to that perception that we had. And I think other times we ignore because it would literally break us to accept what the reality is. Because some of us have been deceived and frauded by some people for so long that it would break us to have to face the reality that this person was never who I thought they were, ever. You know, it's a lot to deal with, but what did Yolanda Adams say? The battle's not yours, it is the Lord's. Oh, yes. So, like, sometimes you got to give people over, like you said, give them over to God and let Him deal with them. You know, just like what we were talking about, helping people. Everybody might go through a struggle here or there. Everyone has needed some help and some assistance at some point in life. Most people. And most people are appreciative of the help that they've received. And they try to fix their situations so that they are more stable in whatever it is and they don't have to keep turning around and asking for help. Some people are only out to take. And if you're a giver, you really, really need to set boundaries. Because if you're a giver, the takers are taken. They are taking. And grown adults need to get it together. We all go through life where we have choices. We have choices. God gives us free will and we have choices. And a lot of times it's the choices that we have made personally that put us in the situations that we are in. And we've got to deal with the consequences. But even though we might need help, what we need to understand is that nobody's obligated to help us. I know an individual who literally thinks people are obligated to help them. No, because I don't see you helping anybody. You just think everybody's supposed to help you. Nobody's obligated. Nobody's obligated. So, yes, healthy boundaries are definitely needed. And do we have difficulty setting them with people? As most of us have said here, we've gotten better at it. We've gotten better at it. We realize the importance of it. And like I said, I think people that are very passive, people that are givers, people that want acceptance, I think those people are very vulnerable, and have much more difficulty in setting boundaries. And those are the people that I think find it the most difficult to get those boundaries set because they can be easily manipulated, unfortunately. And a narcissist or a manipulator, they're going to know exactly what type of people to come after, cross boundaries. They will have you where you will think you wrong to set a boundary. That's just how good they will be at manipulating you. So I guess it comes down, like we said, if you want to have peace in your life, you're gonna have to set the boundaries, even if you don't want to. Even if someone is very dear to you. It could be your best friend, it could be your sibling, it could be your spouse. You've got to set the boundaries. Um, I have people that I know, and some of the issues that they don't have any boundaries in their own lives. So they don't have a problem with ignoring other people's boundaries and disrespecting other people's boundaries because they have no boundaries of their own. They have no problem with being intrusive because that's norm for them. You know, it's not cool, but that's unfortunately how it is. So do you find it difficult to say no? I don't find it difficult to say no anymore. Not at all. I don't know if I ever had difficulty saying no. Sometimes I used to get like that with my godson, and I still do get like that with him sometimes. But I can't say that I've ever had a lot of difficulty in saying no. I think I've done pretty well with that. Um, but like I said, once I look at your pattern of behavior and I see like, okay, I'll look if you moving funny for me, it won't be a problem for me to cut you off. It just won't. it, it won't. I remember I seeing this meme and I had posted on Facebook before. It was like, you can just cut people out of your life like that. And it had the little Edward Scissorhands just chop, 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 chop. Yeah. I'm the kind of person like, I will cut you out and it will be like, I never knew you ever. If you push me to the point where I have to separate, not just distance, it will be like, I never, ever knew you. All right. Bye, Tanisha. It was good to have you. Yes, definitely. No is a complete sentence. Yes, it is. So I think it's been harder, like I said, with my godson than anyone else. But I don't think I've really had any problems. I'm nice to an extent, but one thing that I don't like is you trying to get over on me or play me like I'm stupid because then, yeah, we're gonna have problems after that. Because I've always been a person where I'm not afraid to call you out on your stuff. So I've always felt like I'm pretty good at letting people know who I am. I'm very real. Um, so it really amazes me when people think they can get over on me like that. That just kind of baffles me sometimes. Now, like I said, I don't really feel like I've had a problem saying no, but I have had an issue with being too accessible to others when it comes to my time or when they call or they come by or they want me to do something or be somewhere. I'm too accessible in that aspect. And I have learned that I have to pull back. I don't have to answer my phone all the time. I don't have to answer my door all the time. I don't have to be like, yeah, Yeah, let's go. I don't have to do that. And I'm very good at compromising. And I feel that a lot of times I don't get that back from other people, and that bothers me. I'm very big on reciprocity when it comes to any kind of relationship because I feel like that's how relationships are going to be able to thrive. I don't expect people to reciprocate things in the exact same way that I do, but I feel that in each relationship that I am in, regardless of what kind of relationship it is, I need you to be putting in the same amount of effort that I'm putting in to keep this relationship healthy. And if I feel like that's not happening, I might not separate myself or immediately, but I will start distancing myself emotionally and mentally. And then before you know it, I'm gone. It'll be when you least expect it. I'm just like, I'm gone. This only after I've given you chances and you really, yes, yes. Whoo, buddy. My thing is, they always say how important communication is in relationships of all kind, right? If I have very nicely communicated to you what I will accept, what I will not accept, what I need, what I don't need, and you still can't seem to respect any of that, then like why do I even need you in my space? Why do I need you in my space? If you don't know how to compromise, why do I need you in my space? I'm not here to just build somebody else up, fill somebody else's bucket, be there when somebody else wants something, give someone else what they need, but you're ignoring everything that I'm telling you that I'm needing. And I don't care if what I say I need is something that you may not particularly want to do. It's called compromise. And if I tell you that's what I need and you can't give that, just move around. Just move around because I'm not going to keep feeding into you and you're not feeding back into me. Like we can't do that. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So we have to we have to let everyone know what our boundaries are, what we like I said, what we're going to accept, what we're not going to accept, what we need, what we don't need, what we want, what we don't want. And I think I'm very good at being clear about what, especially what I want. I'm very clear about what I want and what I need. Um, do I expect to always get what I want? No. Do I expect to get what I need? Yes. And I'm never going to ask for anything that is unreasonable. And I don't ask for much. Sometimes it comes off that way, and that's only because I know exactly what it is that I want. But yes, yes, this is true. You have to be consistent because if not, we give them one little loophole, they're gonna run with it, right? So, that's something I'm dealing with someone right now, and it's like I've expressed to you what I need, and it's a very simple thing that I need, and I still haven't gotten it, and there's no excuse because I don't really do excuses. My thing is like I don't do excuses. That's your reason for. You might have a reason for why you did or didn't do something, but in my opinion, an excuse is something that's life threatening or just completely beyond your control. Don't tell me you can't do something and you do it with somewhere else or with somebody else. Then you can do it. You're just choosing not to. I don't do excuses. Like I don't come at me. That's your reason. That's your reason why you didn't do it. But you can't use that as an excuse. Um, no. So be consistent. And I will tell people, because it's something that I had to learn about myself. I had to learn this about myself. When I'm done with somebody for whatever reason, whether it's a friend, a boyfriend, a family member, a coworker, when I am done with you, it's going to be in a moment when you least expect it. But it's going to be because of an accumulation of things. Okay? It's going to seem very petty to you. And you're going to go back and you're going to talk about me like dirt, and you're going to tell people that I was tripping over nothing. That's probably what you're going to do. But that's not what it's going to be. It's going to be that I have consistently said, don't do, or I need, or I don't need, or I want, or don't want. I've consistently expressed to you, and you didn't come through on your end. And it's just going to be the smallest thing, and I'm just going to be done. And you're going to think, what? How can you do that? How can you just do me? How can you just cut me off? Because I can. Because I have to. Because if you really cared, we wouldn't even be at this space right now, So that's me. And when I'm done, game over. Yes. Yes. I can, like I said, I can always be cordial. There are very few people that I will not speak to at all. Very few. Even people that have done me super duper 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 dirty, I'm still pretty cordial to people. And there's very few, like I said, there are some that I don't have nothing for you. I'm sorry. I can't fake it with you, nothing. I just can't. There are some people that I'm like that with them. It's just like, mm-mm. But most of the time I will be cordial with you. I was telling my brother, I think this was yesterday. I was telling him, I was like, do you know, it's so many people that I should have just beat their butts, and I did it. And he's like, God doesn't want us to be violent. I said, I know. I said, but they could have got it and they would have deserved it. They could have got it and they would have deserved it. But thank God. But thank God. Whew. Yeah, some of them are invisible. Some of them are, but ooh, the Holy Spirit and the angels, sometimes they be tapping me like, girl, just speak. I always tell my mom, I say, I'll be so ready, because I'm ready to say stuff to people. I'm not a person to hold back. And if I'm holding back, you best believe, I tell my mom, I said, but then the angels of heaven came down and they wrapped their wings around my mouth. They said, don't do it, Tamika, don't do it. Don't do, what are they saying? Color Purple, don't do it, Missy. Don't do it. Because my words will cut you more than if I just separate myself from you. Because I'm going to tell you the most brutal honesty, and it's going to hurt. It's going to cut. It's going to cut. But my mom and I were talking about it this morning. She asked me about this girl that I used to go to school with, if I had heard anything of her in a while. And I said, no. And then my mom was like, yeah, she just did you dirty. And I said, Mama, my whole adult life has been people screwing me over. That's what literally, my brother and I had a whole discussion about it one day. And I went through all of these so-called friends and talked about all the different jobs and the you know, even things that from church. I mean, I just went through this whole list from my adult life. And we were like, my mom and I talked about it this morning. She's like, yeah. And I said, I have a handful of friends, a handful that have never done me dirty. A handful. Never had no problems with them. Love them like my sisters. But some people have done me dirty. Even people that I would never expect. Okay? Never expect have done me dirty. And like I told my brother, I have not heard a single person. Thank you, Jesus. Because you know what? They're not worth me going to jail. Because let me tell you, especially managers and bosses that I've had, so many of them, all that came back on them. I might not have still been at the job when it happened, but I've heard about it. You know what I mean? So-called friends and stuff. It comes back on them. People be wondering why they going through what they going through. It's because you're the way you acting with me. That's why you going through what you're going through. People will be out there doing them the same way they doing me, and they trying to figure out why. It's amazing to me at times. Like, yes, like God's, because He can do worse to you than I ever can. Than I ever can. That's for sure. Yep. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Are you respectful of other people's boundaries? I have a lot of people that I know, they don't respect people's boundaries at all. And I just don't fool with them like that anymore. I keep them at a distance. And I pray for everybody else that comes into contact with them because I know how they are. They have no respect for people's boundaries. They will come into your home and just roam around your home like it's theirs. They will continuously bring strangers with them to your home. They will be in all of your business, trying to be in all of your business. No. Like, there are people that start social media accounts just to be in people's business. They're not on social media for no other reason but just to be in people's business. I have family that are so bad at respecting boundaries that it's not even funny. And when I tell you they go above and beyond to disrespect the boundary, it's, yeah. Like, even with my group of friends that I said I've had no problems with them, the majority of them are married. There's one she's dating, and one other one she's single, like me. And when they all started getting married, we used to all hang out like all the time. We used to go out back in our 20s, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We were at the club. Okay, we were going to the club before we went into work because we used to work overnight. We were always going out. But when people start getting married, I respect that marriage. I'm not going to keep trying to get you to go out with me or hang out with me, even though I don't really go out. I don't go out anymore myself like that. But I respect that boundary. That is your marriage. I'm not going to keep running to your house, calling you all the time, trying to get you to go here and there and ever. You have a husband and a family, and that is your number one priority. So I respect that. Now, when we all can get together, lovely. But I'm going to respect that boundary. I've never been a person that just pops up at people's houses. I don't even really pop up at my mom's house. She usually knows if I'm on my way over there for something. Very seldom do I just happen to drop in over there. Um, Same with my older brother. Now that he's remarried, like respect him, respect his boundaries, respect his marriage. I don't call him all the time. I don't try to have him hanging out with us all the time. He's got a wife, you know? So we respect that boundary. There are people that really cross lines. Like you you can't just be invading people's families. Like if you're related to one person, that don't mean you just go and invade their whole other side of their family and stuff and be all up in their business and stuff. Like you just don't do stuff like that. There's boundaries. You don't sit and talk with other people's spouses and stuff and things like that. You just don't do these kind of things. I'm sorry, you just don't. You have to set boundaries. Yeah, very few. Like I think my mom is probably the only one, Michelle. And like I said, that's rare. We used to do that with my grandmother. I think everybody used to do that with my grandmother because it was grandma's house. Everyone used to go to grandma's house. Um, but yeah, I don't do that. If I'm coming to somebody's house, they usually know that I'm coming. They usually know. But yeah, I have just witnessed or experienced this healthy boundary situation quite a bit. If someone has been, like I said, if someone has been helpful to you and you keep putting your hand out, as my mom would say, you wearing out your welcome. You wearing out your welcome. Or you keep popping up at people's houses and people are coming over all the time, staying too late. You wearing out your welcome. I'm an extrovert. Extrovert. I really respect other people around me. If you pop up at you, people, I can't stand when people just pop up at my house. And I think part of it is because growing up, my mom never really cared to have a bunch of company at her house. She, especially having other kids come to our house, she never really wanted to be responsible for anybody's children. She didn't want anybody ever saying that somebody did something to their child or something like that, you know. And so I think that kind of stuck with all of us as we got older. My older brother's probably the bigger extrovert. I'm very extrovert too, but he's probably the bigger extrovert. Um, but man, when people just pop up at my house, I'll be like, now my best friend, he does it all the time. So it does not surprise me anymore when he does it. But anybody else, like even my mom, I mean, I usually know that she's coming by for something. If she comes by. My older brother, I usually know if he's coming by for something. But otherwise, we don't have company. So like, my neighbors should be very happy. We're not party people. Like you ain't got, but you know, I always got to worry about backing into somebody's car when I leave out of my yard because there's always something going on with my neighbors. But yeah, it's like one of my aunts, she used to really like open up her house to people a lot. And I just felt like some people would just be walking all through her house. And my thing is, when you go to somebody's house, you sit down in an open space where everybody is, and you don't go any further unless you have been given permission to do so. That's how I feel. You don't just get to roam around somebody's house like it's yours. And even if they allow you to, you should still want to have some kind of boundaries. Like just going all up in people's cabinets and refrigerators and all this stuff. And like you just don't do that. You just don't do that. It's so very true. And like going and eating up people's food and stuff like that. You don't do that. I remember one time my one of my uncles, he had a little get together at his house, and my older brother and I had gone, and I think we'd gotten there a little later than most people. And so we were sitting at the bar eating, and my uncle was upset because he had put a stash of barbecue. He'd stashed it away in the kitchen, and somebody found the stash and took the barbecue and ate it. And this is what that said to me. You trifling. Because if he stashed it away, that means you were digging and looking around and lurking to have even found it in the first place. You're trifling. You're trifling. And those are the ones that'll come to a get together, cookout, barbecue, birthday party, and they won't barely bring a thing and want to be packing off everything. Those are the ones. And I think that was one of the first times I've ever seen my uncle really upset, because I don't really see him upset. And I was like, what do you mean you stashed it away and it's gone? Like, you are a mess if you were digging around in his stuff to find. And then bringing strangers and stuff. I mean, I know sometimes you bring like a plus one or something like that to different events or whatever. But when you bring in shady people, that's a problem. These people, some shady people, don't be bringing them all up in people's house without getting permission first. Don't do that. That's right, sat down. Now my great grandma, may she rest in peace. She tell people about themselves. She would tell people about themselves. So like when we had a family Thanksgiving in Dallas this past Thanksgiving at one of my cousin's homes. And my cousin and his wife, they lost their son the previous Christmas. So it was about to be a year since his death. Um, and so I had already told them, I was like, I'm not going to allow anybody to come in y'all's house for Thanksgiving and act crazy. I said, I'm just letting y'all know I will regulate. Because my thing is, I wanted and needed everybody to remember they're still grieving. Well, really, our whole family was still grieving. We had a lot of loss that previous year. So it's like, don't y'all come in these people's house acting like y'all live here. Because you don't live here. You are a visitor, and you're going to respect their house, and we're going to have a good time. Because nobody really acted too much of a fool, thank goodness. Because I was ready. When I tell you, I was ready. But yeah, so what can you do if you're not doing it already to set boundaries? What things can you do to create healthy boundaries in your relationships with others? I think we've mentioned a lot of things already, like being consistent. I think you need to be very clear, and you need to stand firm with your boundaries. Stand firm with them, because if you make exceptions, people ill will take advantage of that. And there's been times where I've thought like, because I always say what you allow will continue. What you allow will continue. And I think it's very hard when it comes to family, and I think in the Black community, we have this mindset that family is so important that we should just allow and tolerate anything. I think we really have that mindset. And what you allow will continue. So if you've got cousin Day Day over here who's super toxic and is always a problem, and you keep allowing cousin Day Day to bring all that toxicity around, you really can't be mad at anybody but yourself. And maybe as a family, you need to set a boundary. As a whole family, you need to be like, if you're going to keep bringing that around here, you're not welcome. And I find that sometimes we just allow it because they're family. I just feel like we do that. And I think our culture has really had that mindset for years, you know? I agree, be considered yes, yes. Now, one of my cousins, rest in peace, I think it was the anniversary of his death, actually. He's been gone 9 years. And, he was into some things that he shouldn't have been into. And I remember one day, because where his other grandmother lived, there was like an empty lot behind her house, and him and his cousins and friends and stuff would hang out in that lot. And his other grandmother lived a street away from my mom. So we were on the way to my mom's house, and we saw him standing there in the lot, and we pull over and we speak and we say hi. And he says, "Okay, I need y'all to get out of here." I respected him for that because he knew we didn't need the beast right there talking with him too long in that spot. And he spoke to us. We caught up for a little bit, and then he told us to be on about our way. And I can't even say the day he died, hours before he died. Hours before. It was probably around 7 p.m. We had gone to my mom's house. We had saw him standing on that corner. We had waved. And by the next morning, he was gone. Like, that's crazy. But he wouldn't come to my grandmother's house with all of his stuff, He was respectful, even though he knew he was doing things that he shouldn't be doing. Yes, especially if they're elderly. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the issues that we have with our elders is we don't put any boundaries on them. We feel that they can say and do what they want because they're our elders. But my great grandma, although I loved her to death, I saw her be very disrespectful to people over the years. I saw her, she used to be in everybody's business. I ain't gonna lie, she used to be in everybody's business. And she was kind of controlling of my grandmother as well. And I'm kind of seeing those same patterns pop up right now with folks. But like, even with my brothers, I'm not gonna let them just do and say and act any kind of way. I don't care if you're my brother. There has to be some boundaries somewhere. But yes, I encourage everyone to set those boundaries. And you might have to set different boundaries with different individuals. You might have to do that. But do that. Make it clear what you will accept, what you will tolerate. Be consistent. Stand firm. Give warnings like, hey, you've already done blah, 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 blah. You got one more time. You got one more time. But I think if we do that, that helps protect our space, because especially if you have children, you need those boundaries set because you don't want certain things coming into the space in which your children are in. So I encourage us to keep those boundaries. Know when to say no. As Michelle said, no is a complete sentence. And thanks for the book suggestion, Michelle. It's so good to have you here tonight. And speaking of books, if you want to join me for book club, let me get the link and put that in the chat for you. I'll put it in the chat. So you can go ahead and click on there, and I'm probably going to run to the restroom and then I'll start that Zoom meeting. But I thank you all for joining us tonight. I had a great time. This was a great discussion. If there's any other topics or things that y'all want to talk about, definitely let me know. You can always message me on Instagram or you can email me. My email's always in the description. And we can talk about some things. And Joyce has been that way for 100 years. Yes, you need to set boundaries. And and that's the other thing too. Now that you mention that, if you're married, protect your marriage. Set boundaries. If you're a husband, your mother shouldn't be all up in your marriage. She is not your wife. If you're a wife, your daddy shouldn't be all up in your business. He is not your husband. You have to set boundaries. You have to set them if you want your marriage to work. All right. Yes, this was a very great conversation. I really enjoyed you guys. Like I said, feel free to did the chat, did I put the link? I thought I put the link. Hold on. Let me try it again. Okay, there it is. I thought I had sent it through. So there's a link. So feel free to join me. I'm going to run to the restroom and then I will start that meeting again. Thank you guys. And I will see you guys in a few weeks. So the next time we meet will be June the 11th. So I'll see you back here June the 11th. You guys have a wonderful evening. Love you guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.